Thank you. Happy Sabbath, everyone. Okay. First of all, I would like to thank the church pastor and the elders, um, deacon, and the department team for arranging me for having a sermon here. Like I said, this was not my first time. I've been here before, around like 15 years ago. Yeah, 15 years ago when I was first sent to study at Mountain View College in Philippines. And then I came for a vacation, and I was able to work with one of the great pastor, James Waugh. And for the vacation time, I was under him as a chaplain, working with him as assistant chaplain. So most of the time I will be in the church here, and also the Indian church. My name is Jacob John, as mentioned. I'm a pastoring right now Sungawe Indian Church. And today, the message that I want to share with you is Christ's way of doing evangelism. This is a focus that we have been encouraged by our mission leaders and also worldwide spiritual leaders, mission spiritual leaders, to go on it. And as we know, after 1844, we've been our pioneers, Adventist pioneers, have been trying to find out the truth, why it does not go the way it is supposed to be, and they work out many things, and they find the reason why 1844 was not being a successful one, the disappointment day. They were also, all these people were also young people at the time, like in the picture they look older, but when they were doing it, they were young people. Ellen G. White, James White, and Uriah Smith, and many other people would like to volunteer, and they're trying to help out with the ministry. This picture here you've been seeing, they want to spread the news, so they have this printing ministry. They start to print news and then start giving to the people around, and the work has been successful. Many of them start reading the news, and they've been encouraged by it. And these are the old stuff that they still keep it as a memory. And later on, one thing happened was, when this ministry was growing up, they all gathered to a place called Battle Creek. Battle Creek, that is where more and more people start to come, and they start to develop it as it's a sanitarium, and also a printing machine, publishing house was there, and many other things, health ministry, community service, all these things were developing in that area. But Ellen G. White have a vision at that time, and she mentioned that in 1882, she remarked, "The Lord says to many at Battle Creek, 'What dost thou there?' Again she recounted how it was as she was at that time was in Australia, and she was not able to sleep. And the only words that come to her were scattered. Go and preach the message. Do not be staying in one place." The reason why she was mentioning this was, at that time, in that one place alone, they trying to build up. So it became like a comfort zone where you have everything, the food, the health ministry, the community, the people, everything. It's like a small town. It start to be growing up very rapidly, and they have many people in it. It is not wrong, but as it's growing up, and also she start to get vision that seeing that the other problems that are rising in the Battle Creek. So God was giving her a vision that go and scatter and go around, as He was giving to His disciples, telling that in Matthew chapter 28, verse 19 and 20, the telling, go and share the ministry with other people. As she was mentioned, the people were not hearing that, and sooner or later it start to have fire in Battle Creek. Battle Creek, after you get fire and people start to spread around, and they went and start doing ministry much more effectively. At that time, Ellen G. White was in Australia, and then she come back to Angwin, California, where St. Helena was there, and her home, the last home she was there, and she started to write down few things about how to do ministry. But in the topic that I took today was Christ's way of doing evangelism. As anybody who get baptized today, in the 4 Gospels, the easiest gospel for them to understand the Bible is the Gospel of John. John does not only wrote the Gospel of John, but he's also wrote 4 other books. Yeah, First John, 2 John, 3rd, and also the Revelation. So in this book of John, is always reflect the most important one is Christ. The other 3 books we call the synoptic gospel, where Matthew, Mark, and Luke, the same story you can find in also the other books. A little slight differences, but you can find it in other books. But in the book of John, you cannot find the stories in Matthew, Mark, and Luke. Have the similarities totally different, and the book of John always reflects on Christ is the main person, and there are 7 miracles mentioned in the book of John, which the 7 miracles mentioned is all talk about how great God is. So today, I'm going to show you 4 things that God did before He did a very big evangelism, before He did a very big meeting. And the first thing was, in John chapter 1, verse 38 to 39, a while ago, Dr. Joey was reading. He said, the people were this is right after 30 years of his staying with his family. He went out and get baptized, and as he was going on, people start to see the differences, and then they start to see teacher from the way he talk, the way he do things. They start to identify him as rabbi, which means teacher, where are you staying? And then he said, you come and see. His reply was, you come and see. So as a few people gather around him, he started to choosing his disciples, and as they were going, that's the thing, he was doing the 4 things. The first thing he was doing is community needs. John chapter 2, verse 1 to 3, the place he went was Cana, and Cana in Galilee. As we all know, Christ was born in Bethlehem. He was raised in Nazareth, and most of the ministry he did in Capernaum. So Cana is nearby Capernaum area. So he went to attend a wedding. As we all know this story, but when he attended the wedding, what happened is they were short of wine. Wine was the most important thing in the marriage at that time. So when the wine was kind of short, what he did mention was the servants are getting panicked, the hosts are getting panicked. So they go to Jesus' mother, and then they try to find out a solution. And then when it's come to Jesus, and then Jesus said in chapter 2, verse 7 to 9, he said, fill the jars with water. So they filled the jars with him. And then as we continue reading it, we start to get to know that the water turned into wine, and the marriage was continued. The important thing in this one was, and everyone, and the people who drink the wine, they say that everyone bring out the choice of wine first. The first wine, they bring it first. And then the cheaper wine, they bring it later. But you have saved the best till now. What Jesus did here in Cana of Galilee was the first miracle. Okay, another thing, what he was trying to do there is, the wine is not particularly, he was trying to say about the wine that we know, we understand as today. The wine that makes drunk a person, and not that one. A wine, basically as a message, the message that he was giving to the people. They were actually having a good time with talking. It does not mention they were drunk after drinking the wine. They were having a good time after drinking the wine. That means the message that we are going to give to the people. Today, many people are doing community service. Over there in Cana, they need of help in a community at that time. But what Jesus did was, he did help the community there. If we ask, what is the difference today, the community service we are doing and other people are doing? We are going to show Jesus. We are going to reflect Jesus in the community to reflect Jesus so they may come closer to him. And that is what Jesus did in John chapter 2. And the second one, what Jesus did was spiritual needs. Now a man, a Pharisee, his name is Nicodemus, who was also a member of the Jewish ruling council. Pharisees usually a man of a lot of knowledge. They have memorized the Torah, the 5 books of Moses, and they have the power to change certain things. He come to Jesus at night time because he's afraid or even ashamed to come in the daytime because he is a very important person in the council. So he come in the night time and he asks, Rabbi, we know that you are a teacher who has come from God. But no one could perform the sign you are doing if God were not with you. They understand that he is a teacher. And then he asked question. And Jesus answer his question. How to born again. You have how to be born again once a person is born again. So God is trying to show him the way, the meaning that he was trying to say, to make him understand. And he did understand that. What is the meaning of born again? Today in the church, we might be from a young age, we are born Adventist. We can be Christian and we have read a lot of theology books and but there are times of this theology and ministry is not usually come in one. It got a lot of different aspect in theology. So when Nicodemus learned the truth about Jesus, what he did was the time where Jesus was captured, he talked for Jesus. He was denied. They were trying to eliminate Jesus from the ministry. He did stand for Jesus, but he was defeated. He never gave up. He is also the same person when Jesus was crucified and was trying to bury it. He was person also go there to help him to bury it. Little by little, there's changes in Nicodemus because he really did find the truth. Just the first one God did was in the chapter 2 was community service. The second one was spiritual changes. In the spiritual changes is need in every one of us. Maybe we might be strong in one section, but we are weak in the other side. So spiritual strengthness is a need. And then the social needs. In chapter 4, we can see that there is a Samaritan woman who come where Jesus have to meet. So Jesus and his disciples were going after ministry, and Jesus sent his disciples off, and he sat around a well which is known as Jacob's well. And the social needs was mentioned here was a woman came and she was Samaritan. Who are these Samaritan? As we know that Samaritan, they see them as mixed blood. They are not pure Jewish. There was a time, northern kingdom and southern kingdom. The northern kingdom were captured by Assyrian. And then what they did is their technique of military technique is they will take the prisoners or capture whoever there is, and then they will bring it to some other places. And the people from some other country, they will bring it to the northern kingdom of Israel. So they will be mixed, so they cannot think of rebellion and other things, and the culture will be changed. So that's how the Assyrians were shifting the Israel from northern kingdom to the south, some of the people and some of the Jewish that remain, they have to marry whoever they are in the northern kingdom who are not Jew, and they became mixed blood. So the social needs was there because this Samaritan woman, she has a problem. She has a problem and she want to find an answer, but they were rejected. They have to go to worship separately. So God was there, and He was willing to give her the water of life. And when she started to understand the meaning of the water of life, she worked much more faster. She bring more souls to Jesus than His disciples did. His disciples, when the disciples come, they were surprised that He was talking with her. But she went, after she understood the meaning of the living water and who is the person she was talking to, she went and talked to the people in the town and bring more people than the disciples that ever done. That's why sometimes you can see a lot of people, especially the ladies. In my experience, when I go for visitation, I usually see people like to watch the soap opera or dramas. They're trying to watch that soap opera or drama because they're trying to get away from the pressure, or they're trying to want to talk to somebody, but they don't have. There is a need for them, but there's nobody to listen to them. So God did help them through the ministry. In our churches, we are doing this ministry, also women ministry, counseling ministry. We are doing many things. There are people outside who need this type of ministry too. So when Jesus meet a need, she bring more soul to Jesus. And the last ministry he did was the physical need. And it was a Jewish festival, and Jesus happened to pass by a sheep gate called Bethesda. At the Bethesda, there is a belief that whoever, there will be angels come and stir the water, and whoever get into the pool first will get cured. And this person for 38 years old, lying down there, usually Jesus will practice by asking, do you believe that you will get ill? But this person, he goes over there, and then he just asks them, do you want to get well? In the verse 7, he says, Sir, I have no one to help me into the pool when the water is stirred. While I am trying to get in, someone else will go down ahead of me. And Jesus said, get up, pick up your mat, and walk. His faith was practiced over there. Once he said that word, the word just triggered into his mind. They will go to his nervous system. It's all this motor things in his body start working. And without realizing, he started standing up, taking off his mat. Jesus met the physical need. And at that time, many people who saw that start to be convincing. My dear brothers and sisters, our time is very short. So I'm trying to bring it to a conclusion. Christ's way is the best way of doing ministry. First of all, he did was the community. There was a community which was in a need. He met their need. And they find that they were happy when he met the needs. The second one is spiritual needs. The spiritual needs that is in the church, in our society, there are spiritual needs. When we meet that, people come closer to God. Social needs. There are a group of people that we need to have social needs. And the last one is physical needs. Physical needs is also important. It's a health ministry that we are doing. So in our churches, before we start a program in Peninsular Malaysia only, just imagine how many states we have our churches. Just imagine how many places they may have all these needs. And to start to do evangelism, we start with how Christ did. And what happened is, after Christ did this, in John chapter 6, verse 2 and 3, a great crowd, not just a crowd, a great crowd of people follow him because they saw the sign he had performed by healing the sick. Then Jesus went up to the mountainside and he started doing the Sermon of Mount. And they just stayed there because they heard what Christ has done. How we can do all these things? I want to close with a story. In the Second World War II, there's a couple. It's in South Korea. It's a South Korean girl. Fell in love with an American soldier. Once they fell in love, they get together, and she got pregnant. And at this time, there's a culture which is very strong in South Korea that you cannot mix blood. You usually have to marry your same race. And when this story was happened, and they were brave enough, they married and they have kids, but the war was over and the soldier have to go back home. So once the soldier was go back home, she have to stay here. And the soldier said, we will try to work out something, and once I go back, I will try to get you back. And it is time, and she was pregnant, and it is time to get delivered. As she was going through all this process, a painful process it is, she's trying to go to a relative. The relatives don't want her. Friends don't want her. And she can deliver anytime. I'm talking about 1940s or 50s at the World War II time. So without any way, she was trying to walk in the snow. At that time, there was snow. They walk in the snow. And there was nothing she can do. There was a bridge. And under the bridge, she gave birth to a baby boy. And then the following morning, a priest passed by there, saw that baby, heard the voice of a baby crying. So he walked nearby to see where this voice is coming from, who is crying. And he find out a mother was trying to hug a baby. The mother passed away, but the baby was still alive. So the priest took the baby boy and he raised him as his son. The boy will start to be around 10 years old. The priest thought might be the right time to tell the boy what really happened to him, the story about his mom. So it was going to be his birthday. He's going to turn to be 10. So he started to sit down and talk to the boy, tell the boy, you happened to be born on this day. This is what happened. This is where I found you. The boy kept quiet, and he left. The following morning, the priest started to wake up, to cheer him up, to say happy birthday and all this program that is arranged for him. And he went and looked for him. He cannot find this boy. He went to his bedroom. He was not there. And he went to a living room. He's not even he's not in the bathroom. Where he might gone. So he was so worried and started looking around, and he saw a footstep going out in the snow. So he trying to follow the footstep, and the footstep bring him back to the same bridge that the priest saw him when he was a baby boy. And over the bridge, he saw the boy was all naked, and he started shivering, and his teeth start like the typing situation, and he's all trying to get into a hyper cold. The priest went to the boy and he said, "Are you crazy? Why are you doing this to yourself?" He take up his jacket and put around him, and then he bring him home, and then he start talking to him. Why? And then the boy look at the priest. He say, "I want to actually, Father, I just want to feel the way my mother feel when she was trying to give me a birth, and the suffering that she was trying to go through." My dear brothers and sisters, if we never understand the agony, the pain, and the struggling, the humility that God, the creator of this world, gone through, if we never feel that, we will never able to do ministry. We will just sit in our comfort zone and just enjoy. Yeah, there is blessing, but it's more blessing when you go up. Have you seen this picture? It's like the black sheep. I like to watch this picture because sometimes I think I am the black sheep. Sometimes we are rebellions. Sometimes we have our weaknesses. Sometimes we have many things in our life. But when we come closer to God, God, I want to do ministry. When we're giving ourselves to God, they say, God, you lead us. I'm giving myself to you. This is what I have. This is who I am. And when we start giving up ourselves, He will lead us. He will guide us. And God promised He will not make us a tail. He will always make us a head. And through the services, He uses as an instrument. And through us, many people can come to the ministry. Praise God for the time that He has given to us. Amen.